Hi, it's Gene Trowbridge. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Hope you subscribe. Today I'm going to talk about the topic which is moving from joint venture to security. As a former syndicator and a current lawyer dealing with securities laws, we get this question quite often, and I wanted to make this YouTube so we could have a good answer for those of you who think this is something you'd like to do. Here's a picture of what can be a perfect example of a joint venture. First of all, a joint venture is not a legal way to hold title. A general partnership is a legal way to hold title. And a general partnership made up of two other general partnerships can come together and do a project and expect a profit, but no one is managing the other person's money. Everyone signs on the loan individually, jointly liable. No one takes any money from the other person's side, and all the decisions are made unanimously. So that would be an investment of money by individuals into a common enterprise with an expectation of profit. But that's not a security. Another way I've seen it come is people say, well, let's form an LLC, because an LLC is something you can take title with, and we'll bring in a few members and we'll make it a joint venture. Well, basically what they want to do is they want to have a member-managed LLC formed to own the property. Every member can put in different amounts of money, that's fine, and get different benefits, that's fine. But when decisions come, everyone gets an equal vote. No one can be in charge of anyone else's money. So once again, here's an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit. That's not enough to make it a security. And with this voting, it's difficult if there are very many members. So the problem comes, what if there's just more than one investor? How do you do this? How do you make all this work? Well, you have a syndication because we've invested our money in a property. There's no doubt about it. It's a business venture. We're looking for a profit. But we're going to have to go to the securities world to make this happen. And what happens when we go to the securities world? We add this box, the manager LLC. So now we have an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit. But it's going to happen. Everything is going to happen because we have a manager. The manager is in charge of all the money. The manager is in charge of the decisions. The manager probably alone signs the mortgage. So what we have is a security. The government has a vested interest in putting together laws to protect these investors when there's someone like that running their money. So this is the perfect picture of a security, different than a joint venture. And the distinction is, in a joint venture, there's no one person in charge of anyone else's money. You're on your own with your joint venture partners. The securities laws were designed to protect the public from fraudulent investing. The basic part of the securities laws is full disclosure. That's why we write private placement memorandums and we tell people everything that we know about the project. And the second part of the securities law is to protect people from people who would sell fraudulent investments. That's why we have things like securities law licenses to sell securities, financial planning licenses, investment advisor licenses, stockbroker licenses, all designed to protect the public from bad people. We don't worry so much about that part in our business because, like for sale by owner in real estate, you can sell your own real estate without a real estate license. You just can't sell mine. If you're in the manager entity, you're called an issuer. And you can sell your own securities without a license. You can't get paid for doing it. You can get a promote and all that, but you can't get like a commission. So if there are 2 or 3 people in the manager entity and one person raises more than the other, we can't have a compensation based on how much you raise. That wouldn't be right unless you had a securities license. So the 33 Act is the one that we talk about. It is a criminal statute for all of you who are interested. Do it right, go to jail. Defined what a security was, introduce a concept called an investment contract, and establish that every security must be registered with the SEC unless it's exempt. So what the person who asked me this question wanted to know is, if I put together a joint venture, can I stay out of all this stuff? Yes, you can if you do it right. But as soon as we have too many investors, it's not going to work. And how are you going to get paid? You can't be in charge. You can't get paid. Why would you do that? And why would investors want to invest with a group that had just a bunch of people like them trying to make decisions? Don't they invest because there's a quality sponsor? So more than likely you're going to have a security. And the securities laws came out of one particular case. And it's a Supreme Court case called Howey, and I'm not going to go into it much now, but it's a real estate case, and it had to do with people buying lots in an agricultural farm. And when the agricultural farm went down, the people didn't want to pay for their lots anymore, and the agricultural company went and sued them and said, hey, you got to pay for your lots. And the people said, well, no, we really didn't buy the lot. We bought into the farm. You said you were going to raise all the grapefruits. You said you were going to process them. You said you were going to sell them, and you said you were going to share them with us. In order for us to be part of that, we had to buy a lot. But we weren't going to do all that ourselves. So the Supreme Court in the mid-40s took that case and said, okay, here's the primary example of what we mean by an investment contract. And investment contract are 2 words that are in the middle of the definition of a security. It would be an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit solely through the efforts of the promoter. And I kept saying that. Our joint venture between the 2 general partners, that's an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit. But there's no one managing their money. They're managing it themselves. In the member-managed LLC, they're all members. There's no manager. Investment of money in the LLC with an expectation of profit, not a security. But we get enough investors, we have to have a manager, someone who's going to make all this happen. Now we have an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit solely through the efforts of the promoter. So that manager box makes it a security. Solely through the efforts of the promoter. Now I talk all about the securities laws and go into more definition and more cases. If you want to read about that, the best place to read about it is in my book. It's a Whole New Business. The 4th edition is out. You can buy it at Amazon, hard copy, or Kindle. So that's the presentation on joint venture to a security. The real crux is, if there's enough people and you have to have a manager, and the manager is going to make the decisions, it's a security. If all the members individually have equal votes and they make all the decisions and there's no manager, you can stay away from having it be a security. But just remember, there's no ownership entity called a joint venture. It's just a terminology about how people are working together without the manager. And without the manager, it's not a security. So go ahead. Be great if you'd subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always putting more new information on here. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.